Hey everyone, I'm just here to talk about Zhin, the newest champion to the realm, and how he came out a few days ago, and just my first impressions of him, because unlike a lot of other people, I didn't actually play him in PTS. I only played him when he became available to everyone, and just my overall thoughts on him. So as for his design, I think he looks actually pretty cool in a lot of ways. For a long time, the second hand at the bottom of the screen really bothered me. I don't know why, but I did get used to it. But as for the character design, I just feel he reminds me a lot of a Disney character. And depending on how you feel about Disney, I guess it depends. It tells you if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And I just feel like he's a Disney character because even though he's a bad guy, I guess maybe because the game's really cartoony or maybe just some of his other lines, I feel he's almost like an unsuccessful bad guy in the way like Wile E. Coyote can never seem to catch the Roadrunner, and just like a lot of the bad guys in Disney movies always seem to fail. Like they might succeed here and there, but for the most part they seem to fail in like a joking manner and just ridiculous fail. So that's how I feel about him, and I don't, like I said, I don't really think that's a bad thing. I think it's fine as is. And another thing I think is kind of cool about him is just his one line of when you get his kill streak, you know, let the bodies hit the floor. It reminds me, I don't know if this is on purpose or not, but it reminds me of Drowning Pools, the song Let the Bodies Hit the Floor, which was a really popular song by them, I believe, in the early 2000s, late 90s, which is one of only two songs I actually enjoy by them, the other one being Tear You Apart. But again, I don't know if that's intentional, but if it is, that is pretty awesome. So another line. Speaking of lines, another line that I really like of him, which is sometimes how I feel when I play a healer and how I feel like the damages thing and such, is just his one line when he gets healed. He's like, "Oh, so healers aren't actually worthless," and I just think that's just kind of really funny and kind of poking at the game a little bit here and there. And lastly, another thing I really quite enjoy is his ultimate, and to me it reminds me of a Mortal Kombat like finisher move, because he just brings them up into the air and just does his final thing, or like any real fighting game, like even Tekken, their supers, where you know they blow them up and they lock them in this screen for a short amount of time for either a finisher or just massive amounts of damage. And I just feel like that's where Zhin's ultimate comes from, and I just think that's really awesome too. And it just looks and feels really cool. I know a lot of people maybe don't like his ultimate just because it's not really, if you don't get the legendary, it's not necessarily a guaranteed finisher and it does put you in a sore spot, but honestly I feel like ultimates and paladins is not really meant to always finish people off. They're not really game-changing ultimates. And if you were to add another one similar to Drogo's, I feel like it would kind of take the power away from other characters' ultimates. So I'm perfectly okay with that. And lastly, I also think it's pretty interesting and cool that they put in a melee champion, essentially, in Paladins. I know it's not technically a melee, but I think that's really cool how they took it, and in a way they put like an anime spin to it, because you know in anime there's always these sword-wielding guys or girls who can do these like sword strikes, through like long-distance sword strikes, so that's why I feel like they took that inspiration from as well. However, just like one of the biggest problems I have, one of the biggest frustrations I have playing as Zhin is I don't feel like he's mobile enough in the way like he can't really move up or down, and you know the enemy can always see him. There's never a point that you feel really hidden or you feel really fast. So honestly, and because of his strikes there's no poke ability, they're very short distance. I feel like one of the most necessary cards to get this in is Nimble, because as of right now I just don't feel the power really coming from him like a lot of the other flankers. Another I guess I would say two other major flaws. I would say like one major flaw is just, what is it, his its counter ability. Because unlike Androxus, where it can take continual amount of damage for a certain period of time, it takes one tick of damage, which it just feels underwhelming. And then to actually get any damage out of that, you have to be within melee range, so you have to be like right on top of the enemy to even do anything. Other than that, it just blocks one tick of damage, which is nothing, especially to protect yourself, especially if it's like a Victor or a Kyra, who can just fire off continuous streams of damage. And that there also seems to be a slight delay for whatever reason. I'm guessing that's a bug that they may fix. After you use counter, you just can't use any of your abilities right away for a time, so that's why personally, like after a while, like I just stopped using counter and only used it in situations that I felt like would be very, very beneficial. And the only other problem I guess I would have with him is, which in a way is a really big problem, is his weapon. It's very limited in range, and which limits his poke ability. That and the flames travel very slowly, and there's 2 large hitboxes and 1 small. So, and the small one is the one that does the most damage. So it's by far the easiest to miss that, and it would just screw up your entire like duel with another person. Then, like I said, they're very slow, so when you shoot from your max distance, or any kind of distance, really, you kind of have to lead the target, which can be annoying at times. So that's kind of, where I am with Zhin, and I honestly hope they, I guess, buff him up a bit more so he's more viable. But honestly, I quite enjoy, the fact that they did come up with him, and, maybe what would have been better is just for him to sit in development a little longer. Like, I do appreciate the champions consistently and just constantly, but overall, I don't think it's super necessary, because we do have a lot of champions as of right now. So, if they need to take a little extra time to come out with someone who's really, really amazing, I'm perfectly okay with that. I hope, you guys are as well. So that's kind of more or less where I'm at with Zhin. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, take care.